We all need quick weeknight meals that don't skip on hearty goodness. So this is a very, very quick bolognese that you can make as your pasta is cooking. So I got my water pretty much boiling. I'm gonna make this with TVP, which is textured vegetable protein. But if you don't have this, you could also just cook a cup of green lentils. So this is 1 cup of textured vegetable protein. This is just about 7/8 of a cup of vegetable broth. This is gonna take about 5 or 10 minutes just to soak up and it'll expand. So we're just gonna leave this off to the side while we're doing everything else. And by the time this is ready to toss in, it'll be good to go. So we're gonna put in about the equivalent of 1 onion in here. And then we're gonna add about 3 cloves worth of garlic. And we're just gonna water saute this for a few minutes. I don't love to use oil for cooking. Put a little salt on there and the salt will help to open up the onion as well and it'll help it to cook. So as you can see, this is starting to brown a little bit on the pan, and that's okay because it's flavor. You don't want it to burn, but little charred bits of brown on onions and garlic is good, it's flavor. So I'm just gonna deglaze it with just a little bit of vegetable broth. We're gonna add a diced pepper and a shredded carrot, and we're gonna let that continue to cook. We'll just bring that heat down low so that we don't want these things to burn. But if you add a little bit of salt to this, again, you don't need oil. It's gonna help it cook on its own. And so this water for the pasta is boiling too. So I'm just using 1 package of brown rice pasta. You can use whole wheat pasta, whatever you want. Cook it according to your package directions. This says 7 minutes. Where are we at with this? This is looking good. And if you find it sticking, a little bit more vegetable broth. We're just gonna keep on cooking this until these veggies soften down a bit. Just keep on checking in on your pasta. Stir it around, especially if you're using a brown rice pasta because it can tend to stick together a bit inside the pot. So this is where I might want to add just a little more broth just to help them move around in the pan a little bit. Now we're gonna add our spices. So what I've got here is a spice mix of garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, and oregano. And what's great about adding the spices to the vegetables is it coats them really, really well. So that way, when you take bites of these vegetables, the vegetables are flavored too. I'm gonna give my pasta a stir just to keep that nice and moving along. So now we're gonna check that vegetable protein. And as you can see, the water's gone. And because we use vegetable broth, it's got extra flavor than if we just used water. So now we're just gonna add enough tomato sauce to coat this. Start with that and see where that takes us. And this is also a personal preference depending on how saucy you like your bolognese. This, as soon as this mixture is covered, is pretty much ready to go. This is where you adjust the seasonings to your liking. If you want to add more garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, you want to throw some dried basil in there, or even fresh basil if you have it, now would be a good time to do it. This pasta is going to tell me it's ready in 3 seconds. Perfect. All right, I'm just gonna dump this. I'll be right back. So now this is ready. So all we need to do is ladle some of that bolognese sauce on top of our pasta. And then I like to sprinkle it with nutritional yeast. This gives it a nice cheesy flavor. That is easily one of my favorite 20-minute meals that I can make on any weeknight. Makes little Jeremy so happy. It's mostly texture and then how you flavor it. So, don't screw up the flavor part on your aces.